everyone, this is Shine Park. Welcome back to Shine at the Park. Let me start with a challenge here. If you think your English is good enough, you might be wrong. What I mean by that, because fluency doesn't peak when you are comfortable. It grows when you take on responsibility, when you are forced to lead, to persuade, and to deliver under pressure. Today's guest, Do-Kyun Bryan Kim, didn't build his English by studying more than maybe you are, but he built it by stepping into roles he wasn't ready for, failing publicly, and doing the kind of disciplined desk work most people avoid. I still remember the first time I heard him speak. I was genuinely shocked by the clarity and the control he had. But when you are about to hear, isn't talent, it's a system. So if you feel stuck at your current level, this episode might change how you think about progress. Let's get into it. Learned a lot. So, first of all, I just want you to introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, and what you do for Toastmasters.
Thank you, Shine. Hello, everyone. My name is Do-Kyun Bryan Kim. I'm from Daegu, and my home club is Daegu Toastmasters. I've joined Toastmasters since 2014, and after a couple of fruitful years in serving in the district as one of the leaders, now I am serving as the club growth director for the 25-26 term. As you For those who do not know, the club growth director is part of the trio who are technically the president, VPE, and VPPR, VPMs of the district. So my role as of right now is serving as the VPPR and VPM for District 93 Toastmasters Korea. Back to you, Shai.
Okay, awesome. That was really fast, like a rapper. Okay, BPPR, BPPM. Maybe some of you guys don't know about like the terms in we use in Toastmasters. BPPR is like Vice President of Public Relations. And you are going to, if you're going to take the role, that means you definitely have to, like promote your club to others. And also BPPM is for Vice President of Membership. You take care of new members and also the previous members to connect, with your club. Thank you. And I know you are versatile and talented Toastmaster. How did you start and why did you join Toastmasters in the first place?
Thank you for that question. It really brings back a lot of memories. Back in 2014, while I was in my senior year of university, one of my foreign professors advised if you want to be better in speaking, in English speaking, public speaking, then Toastmasters is the place you need to go to. Unfortunately, back then, Daegu did not have any Toastmasters clubs yet. So in the first half of 2014, I was up in Seoul working for a foreign public agency as an intern. And while I was there, I first visited Seoul Toastmasters, which was located in Chonggak back in the day. And I was also there to see the birth of one of the Toastmasters clubs in Korea called Embassy Toastmasters, core US Embassy Toastmasters, in a place where I worked. So I had some Toastmasters experience. I came back down to Daegu, and voila, by the end of 2014, Daegu Toastmasters was founded. So I joined that club ever since. The reason I joined Toastmasters in the first place was, as mentioned, I wanted to improve on my English speaking and English proficiency in terms of being a linguistic specialist. Back in the day, I was still looking for a job, and since um, uh, I had no obstacles, or I didn't feel any impediments in learning English as language. I felt that, all right, this is a craft that I want to make my own. I want to be a good, proficient professional with wielding such linguistic skills. So that was my target back then, 2014. Yes, so that is how I joined. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Brian, I cannot imagine you were like searching for the place like you can speak English because seems like you're the one who has the talent already. Like you have the beautiful linguistic ability and proficiency. So do you remember back then like you couldn't speak English properly or maybe not effectively? Like why did you actually choose Toastmasters, not other clubs?
That's a very good question because by the end of no, actually, I got a taste of David Toastmasters at the end of 2014. I joined as a member in 2015, January, and then I left. After about 6 months, I left because that was also right in the beginning of my career, my professional career. I got a new job, and what I learned was that back then I felt that I wasn't really feeling any growth, or I didn't understand how the system worked, the curriculum of Toastmasters worked. So I left. I left Toastmasters. I tried English study groups. I had a foreign native speaker tutor. I had a lot of different foreign friends that I wanted to communicate. And back then, I was just trying to eager to speak as many as get as many chances to speak in English as possible, and I did. And eventually, I found out that I hit a roadblock. My skills weren't really advancing. I did a lot of soul searching and reflection on why this wasn't really growing. And I found out that it was because I wasn't really doing any studying behind the desk. As we can always relate, using English is always something that we aspire to. But in order for us to be really proficient, we have to do the work behind the desk. We have to sit down, we have to study, and then we have to make it our own before we go and use it. And once we use it, we get more feedback, and we come back and we work on whatever further assignments or tasks that are required for us to advance. Once I knew that that was the key, I realized that, okay, so that's what Toastmasters was about. It was the most cost efficient way rather than spending a lot of money on drinks and booze and social costs, socializing costs. I realized that, okay, this was where I have to be. So I returned to Toastmasters after that. And ever since, I never left. Yeah.
Um, just if you don't mind me asking about the personal question, what was your major back then?
Ah,
Like,
uh-huh. My major in university was economics. Economics.
ah,
Yeah,
okay.
so nothing to related to English.
So it was efficient for you to learn English or have the proficiency that you want because you wanted to achieve like a certain goal as
Yes.
a economic student.
Oh, well, in terms of envisioning the future, what I thought I wanted to do, and I still am glad that I made that choice, was that I always wanted to work right where domestic and foreign affairs overlap. Maybe it's an industry, maybe it's a public agency. It didn't matter for me as long as I could work in that international, cross-cultural environment. That sweet spot right there, where everything overlaps. That's where I wanted to work. So, and that's where I felt like my skills would be best used. And also, that is the reason why I continue to study English as a foreign language to be better at it.
You reach that goal, like we are talking about your English proficiency, or do you still eager to learn more?
The more I learn, the more I understand that there's so much more I have to learn. So yes, I'm still eager.
Mm.
Still eager. Yes, and you and I, we only met like what? We really started to connect only a couple of months ago. So this is the version you're seeing right now, but this is version, I would say, 345 of uh, my appearance and performance as a speaker because it took me a very long time to build the skills that I am showing today, which still need improvements in my opinion. But it's been a long road. It's been a very long road, over a decade, I guess, of just constantly going back to the training ground, the drawing board, working on my flaws, trying to correct what I did, try to correct my mistakes, and see what I could do more. So it's been a long, steady Y는 EX prep. Yeah.
Wow, you're such a determined person. And I remember as a growth director in South Korea, you mentioned that it's like a gym that we have. Like Toastmasters is like gym. We actually participate together and also work together as a team and help each other and stuff like that. But for me, it's like a playground. I
Yes.
like to play with other people, and it's okay to have like different roles and stuff like that. So it helps me to understand this is the place I can make mistakes and I can grow on top of it. And
Yes.
I am in the safe place, and
Mm.
everybody is very supportive. And as a being, like being a growth director is a big job. And I wonder how has the role changed how you act at work in your personal life?
That's a very, very profound question. Let me try to answer this to the best of my abilities. Um, I actually had a decent conversation with Yuri, who is currently the program quality director. She is currently serving as the vice president of education for District 93. We had this talk and we were joking around, and I mentioned something which went like this. When I first took a job in, well, first took a responsibility in District 93 in Toastmasters, whatever, may that be a club officer for the first time, a district officer for the first time, or a position that I've never experienced before. You always start feeling that you always start with the feeling that you are not ready. And sadly, it's true. No one is truly ready for that position. If you are already proficient for that position, then you're not for the job. You have to take higher challenges to challenge yourself. By the end of each term, by the end of our duration of our term, our responsibility where everything ends, that is the day where we actually get to know 100% of how this works. So for me, this is still a very uh, a high uphill learning curve, and it definitely changed my perspective because I've been exposed to issues that I would have never thought, never experienced while if I were still in my comfort zone. So tackling those challenges, working with the team, trying to overcome these issues, solving them, and making them into something better. It's like gaining experience. It's like gaining 2 days experience in 1 hour. So if you do the math, then that's my own incentive right there. I mean, I feel like there's so much more opportunities for me to grow here while my trio journey still continues. And yes, by the end of it, I hope that it could reflect on not just my professional, but my personal life as well. The biggest skill that I've learned so far is active listening. Being able to connect with people at eye level and really try to understand what they're trying to say before I give my thoughts. And that's one of the greatest skills that are applicable to all different fronts in my life. Back to you,
Such
Sharon.
an interesting and inspiring answer. That's really thoughtful of you saying that. Yeah, I learned to listen actively and carefully, and that's really important lesson that I learned.
Mm,
And also, right, I was thinking like, what is the benefit of taking that officer job? It's like
mm,
time consuming, and I
mm,
have to work too much for this club or this Toastmasters. And I thought like it wouldn't, like feel fair, you
mm,
know?
mm.
However, you're right. Having those obstacles and conflicts, those are the things make me grow as a
Yes,
speaker.
yes.
And I definitely can relate to you.
Mm.
And here, another question for you. It's personal. My project is called Beautiful Pebbles because I like to collect the stories from all other people. So about a trophy or a win, but we don't really talk about trophies or win. But I want you to ask a moment where you failed or struggles that actually made you a better person. Have you ever wrote a speech about this? Like your failure? I feel that like you
All my
didn't.
speeches are about failures. So.
Oh, really? I
No,
only see
but
your successes here. So,
yeah. Well, first of all, Beautiful Pebbles. I think it's a very, very beautiful title for your project. Um, if I were to reflect, then my life has been a constant maneuver of correcting errors. One thing that I'm really proud that I'm good at is that I seldom make the same mistake. I always make new mistakes, and it still I have so much to learn. And the results may not always pan out as I wanted to, but I'm very tenacious in keeping myself focused, trying not to make the same mistake. Of course, I'm human, and of course, I will and have made a lot of same mistakes. But reducing the number of making the same mistakes is very important because in any endeavor that you are currently taking right now, you will face challenges and you will fail. Uh, and if I were to think about one incident that really kickstarted my drive was when I first lost the club growth director election. I mentioned Yuri earlier, who is a dear friend and a very reliable colleague, currently serving the district together. But when she first ran for club growth director, I was also the candidate.
Mm.
And I was not serving on the district council back then. I was not an active district officer. I was more focusing on my club activities as a club officer. But my mentors and now who I can proudly call my friends encouraged me to try to run for club growth director back then. And back then, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just, okay, I mean, sounds like a fun challenge. Let me just try it anyway. And once the due date arrived and I had to deliver this 2 minute speech to impress everyone and persuade everyone to pick me as the club growth director. That was the moment. Right there during that speech, I noticed that I am not prepared for this. I haven't prepared my fullest to this. And Yuri, who was the most well prepared and well deserved, was elected as club growth director. And at that moment, I finally understood. All right, this was not an. I have underestimated this challenge way off. I was way off on my judgment. And right after then, I joined her team. So Yuri, as the new club growth director, she needed a team, which we call a committee. And I was right after the day of the election, I asked her if I could join her team to work closely with her to actually get a better understanding of what this is all about. And I served as her club extension chair for an entire year. And Yuri and I, we did amazing work last term. We were president distinguished district with Scott Kynes as our district director, and everything worked out very well. And after getting that hands-on experience, I finally understood the weight. I was preparing myself to become worthy of not being elected, but at least delivering that 2 minute speech again. So I had that goal since day one of the last term. And finally, at the conference in Gyeongju, I delivered my 2 minute speech, which I wrote, rehearsed, and revised almost for a year. And I never delivered that speech to anyone else. I just kept it
Mm.
really close to my heart. And I was just
Mm.
trying to say, all right, I want to deliver the speech. Am I worthy of delivering the speech? Am I doing the best to my abilities to actually be worthy of delivering the speech? That was the entire question that I carried throughout the 24-25 term. So now I got the job, and yes, it was so much more after I opened that door, so much more work, so much more responsibilities behind the scenes that our past district trio members have had to go through. And I have nothing but, my highest respect to those who have been here before me. So I'm just trying to do my best, and hopefully whoever uh, is out there who wants to take on a new challenge, please take on the trio role. It is so rewarding. Back to you, Sean.
Wow, wow. Now I am really amused by your story because I know what's behind the scene. Even though we only see your success, actually you had the struggles, and also those learning time was not just easy. It's not paved all the time. So that's the pathway that you made for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
That's really beautiful. And yeah, before we are going to close up the session, the episode here, I want you to like give me the advice. I see a proficient speaker here, Brian, and how could you have the beautiful range of vocabulary? How did you practice English like that? It's really amazing.
Well, this is my routine, and I'm totally okay with sharing this. I'm not really encouraging anyone to follow it because it's kind of a high intensive high intensity routine. But every morning when I get to work, if I'm working inside my office, then I read through at least three articles about the economy, news articles in English, mostly The Economist, and uh, there is always new words I find, no, always new patterns of structuring expressions, and I write them all down. I write them all down, have them stashed up, have them logged in my own way that I could always easily find them back, even if I'm not exposed to them after that first exposure. And whenever I have a chance, and I always have a chance to write a new prepared speech, I try to use as many new expressions as possible. So those expressions that I've archived, I try to implement them as many times as possible. And this not just goes with the articles, but also the word of the days, the theme of the days that we bump into every meeting. Those are all, as you mentioned, beautiful pebbles. Those are the pebbles that you stash up until you want to build. All right, I have a room for 10 pebbles here. Which pebble should I put, and how should I make this assembly into a beautiful blend? So it's always about, like trying this, trying that, rehearsing, speaking it out loud until it, really sticks to my body, until I embody it. Yeah, so that's how I gain new vocabulary. And I'm also a very big avid fan of cinema and TV shows. So there's always, every day, there are new words for me to learn. So I'm just trying to stack them up as much as possible. And if I hear them over and over in different different mediums, then it means that I'm on the right track. So I use those words more. So that's how I try to implement new vocabulary into my skill set. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah, this is something that I'm so proud of. Other Toastmasters here in this, like club that we have. We are not trying to mimic natives. We
No,
are actually building our own stories with different words that we learned. And that's how you can speak, and from
word,
your heart.
word.
Yes. And it's something that I want to tell the language learners, especially who are learning English as a second language.
Hmm.
You're not going to be a native speaker. In the
No.
end, what you're going to be, you are going to speak about your stories and your heart. That's
Mm,
the most important thing.
mm.
So here you are demonstrating for other people, and you're being a great model for me as well. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Shine.
And thank you for allowing me to have the interview with you, and hope that you can have the safe trip to the place that you're going.
Of course. And thanks for having me. This is actually the first time I've been interviewed like this, so it's very nervous. But at the same time, you made me feel very comfortable. And thank you for the questions. They were so great, and actually gave me a good chance to stop everything, hold my breath for a moment, and just reflect on what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So thank you for giving me that opportunity, Shine.
Thank you. I also appreciate that you shared your insights. Thank you, and have a nice day.
You too, Shine. Bye bye.
Bye. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one thought. Growth doesn't come from doing what you're already good at. It comes from stepping into roles you're not ready for yet. Remember that. And Brian didn't become fluent because it was easy. He became fluent because he stayed in the process through failure, through repetition, and through the discipline most people avoid. That's where the real change happens, I think. Thank you for spending this time with us on Shine at the Park. And if this episode gave you something to think about, share it with someone who needs the push. I will see you in the next episode. Bye, everyone.